Hi guys, I'm Courtney and welcome to The Engaging Educator. Today, I'm really excited about my topic. It's all about classroom management, and I am going to reveal the secret to classroom management in this video. Now, those that know me in person and have worked with me know how important classroom management is on my scale of rating school importance. And so I want to share with you my evolution of management and some tips or just what I do in the classroom, and then you can take it for what you want. So first of all, I'm not into like the whole videos of clickbait where they say there's a secret and then 20 minutes into the video they reveal the secret and you're like skipping. So I'll save you the trouble. I'm going to start with the secret. Then I'm going to talk about my evolution of classroom management. And then lastly, I will talk about what I'm going to be doing for this year as I go into teaching 4th grade. So here's the secret. Are you ready? The secret to classroom management is, if I could roll my tongue, I do it, building relationships, guys. It is so important. Now, some of you guys might feel a little let down because you're waiting for like a super secret, but it's not a secret. In order to have effective classroom management, you have to build relationships with your students and with your parents. There's just no other way around it. Once you have your students and your parents buying into not only your philosophy, but the way you manage your classroom, smooth sailing, okay? That's the secret. Build relationships. Day one, send out those newsletters. Send out those positive calls before you send out a negative one. Love on your kids. Brag on them. Make them feel like they are the best class in the entire school. You will get those kids where you want them. Boom, done, end of story. Okay, now if you're interested, stay with me and I will continue on with my journey, sort of. I've been saying journey a lot in these videos, so I guess that's kind of where I am. So I do want to point out that it's only the second video and I'm already in a ponytail and glasses, and this is my normal style. I rarely wear my hair down, so all videos will be in a form of a ponytail and glasses, no glasses, just get that out there. All right, so my evolution of management. First of all, oh my gosh, I look back on my management style over the years and cringe a little bit because I don't know how I haven't gotten like hate mail sometimes. I think, when I started out in teaching, I started kind of like thrown into the situation, and I won't say young. I mean, I was youngish, and I just felt like I needed to prove myself. At that time, a lot of parents were older than I was, and so I felt like there was a lot that I needed to prove, which now the tide has turned, and I'm older than the parents, so it's fine. So when I started out, my first year, I taught a split class. It was 1st, 2nd grade split, and that was super hard in itself, and that's a whole nother video, but for purposes of management, I came in like, boom, super hard nosed, like this is what we're doing. Nobody can get up, nobody can breathe, nobody can blink without asking. And my precious babies that first year, they did what I asked them to do. And I don't know how parents didn't call me on the carpet on it. I was way too tough on 1st and 2nd graders. Now being a mom of kindergartner kids, and I've had a 1st grader, I'm gonna have another 1st grader, I would be in that classroom every day complaining. I was never and have never and will never be mean to my students, but the structure that I placed on kids at one point was so tight that they couldn't do anything outside of this square. So in that classroom, I did red, yellow, green, right? Like your clip chart. And if you're doing well, you're on green. If you make a mistake, you're on yellow. If you're really off, you're on red. And I call the parent. And that worked fine for that grade level. I mean, when I look back, they were really easy kids, and they probably could have used something with more of a positive connotation to it. But learning, I'm not gonna be hard on myself. So then after that, I taught 3rd grade, stayed with the clip chart. And this school, the kids were a little bit tougher, and so it required me also to be strict, but I gave them the freedom to be themselves and communicate with boundaries. I gave them the freedom to be themselves within a range. At this point, I had been introduced to Kagan, which taught me that management doesn't mean kids are sitting like robots and kids can't move. It means that they can work cooperatively with each other and still maintain a sense of order in the classroom. So the first year I came into third grade mid-year, and so I kind of had to like get the kids on track and then get them where I wanted to. And it was kind of one of those years where you're like, I'm never going to get them exactly how I want them, but they did well. I didn't go home crying every day. I was not in a chaotic sense, so it was good. I also did a clip chart that year, and that was simple. I believe that one was like the one you move up and you move down. So it's like you start and you're ready to go, and then you can move up and be like a superstar, or you can move down to, and then I'm making contact with the parent, or you're losing recess or some type of consequence. And that worked fine. But again, like any other clip chart, by February, March, they're over it. I mean, they know that at some point they'll go back up the chart, so they kind of have a couple mulligans. And I always felt like the clip charts were very subjective, and I feel like that to this day. So if I'm having a bad day, everybody's on red all of a sudden. Like, what's going on? Clip down, clip down, clip down. So I didn't like clip charts, but I didn't know what else to do, and that's kind of what my peers were doing, and I didn't have any mentorship on what to do any other way. So not the best. I didn't like it, and again, evolution, but I just didn't like it when I reflect back on it. The second year I did third grade, it was another time where I had Reagan, that's my youngest, and I had her the Friday before the Monday of school. And so I was out the first 6 weeks of school, which I'm a firm believer that those first 2 weeks are nothing but procedures and management and really getting that class where you want them. And so I came back from my maternity leave, and every day was like a new day. It was like Groundhog Day. Like, I swear, I just said, you don't get up and sharpen your pencil. And then somebody's up sharpening the pencil. Okay, clip down. Anyway, having a little moment. Okay, so I was not into it. So then I went to fifth grade, and I was super excited to go to fifth grade. As my first year, I was a little bit nervous. And I knew that a clip chart wasn't going to work for fifth grade, and I started researching like upper grade management systems. And the thing that stood out to me was an economy system. And the economy system is amazing. I will be using the economy system in fourth grade. I used it in 3 years of fifth grade. Even when I did a middle school model, we did a form of an economy, and it works wonders. So that's what I'll be using. That's my evolution. And I just, one of the videos I want to do is about writing your expectations letters and parent letters. And I was editing them for the upcoming year. And all of my files from my last year in the classroom somehow were corrupt. So I had to go back 2 years. And I'm reading the language on like my expectations and procedures, and how like it's very blunt. And I think, again, it was a matter of insecurity for me, of saying I want people to know that I am the boss in the classroom, and that really wasn't necessary. So that'll be upcoming. All right, so now let's go to the economy system and what I'll be using this year for fourth grade and what I've used in the past. So I love the economy system, and I believe the website, I'll link it down below, is myclassroomeconomy.org. And this is before like TPT was really off and running. And so I just used that website to get everything set up and started. So basically the economy system places the responsibility of the classroom in the hands of students. And I am no longer a dictatorship of management, and I'm no longer being subjective with my management, but I'm truly a facilitator of classroom management. And that's what I like. And I really love how the kids start to buy into it. So basically you start off with sort of explaining the classroom economy system to your students. And just like anything, you have to talk it up, how amazing it is, how they can earn things, and how we take care of our classroom, all of those types of buy-in things, conversations you need to have. So you need money, and they have that on the website. You just print and cut. It's a lot of printing and cutting, and either use your spouse, a friend, a cousin, a child to help you cut. And I never laminated my money, and my money never got super destroyed, but I guess you could laminate it, and that would like save you some time in the long run. So you have your money, depending on what grade level. Like, they have it for K through all the way up to 8th grade. I don't know necessarily how that would look in kindergarten and 1st grade. I just know for the upper grades, I used bigger bills. So we always had 10s, 20s, 50s, 100s. And that was how students earned their money. So on day one, what I did and what I plan to do is I give an overview of the classroom economy, give them that speech, that buy-in, get them all amped and excited about it, and then we fill out job applications. The jobs are whatever you want them to be. You can edit jobs as see fit, but generally, even in 5th grade, my kids still loved Line Leader and Caboose, which blew my mind. You have like a messenger, you have your assistant, you have a clerk, you have like the paper passers, all of your general jobs that you would do anyway. You give job descriptions with those positions and a job application, and you allow the student to pick 3 jobs, and they will tell you the job that they want, and then they will write a reason as to why they would be good at that job. So one of the jobs is banker. So I might say I want to be a banker because I score really high on my math diagnostic test and I could count the money really well. On that first quarter, it really is like a grab bag, and I have kids change jobs once a quarter. But that first quarter, you don't know who you're getting, and so the kid who said they were really good at banking might not be so good, but it is what it is. And then you might have a police officer, which the police officer's job is basically to be your eyes and ears in the streets. So you want this kid to be the one who is reporting unkind behavior or rule violations on the playground and the lunchroom and things like that. That's a tricky job too. The first time around, again, you kind of have to have your eyes peeled for who is following your directions, who doesn't want to get in trouble. That's going to be your first police officer. I have assigned police officers or any position and they've lost their job, which I'll get into that. And that is because they violated, the sanctity of their job. So that first day, I take home all the applications because the kids are super hyped about it. And I go through and I just start plugging in the jobs. So day 2, we have jobs and each job earns money. So that first month, those first couple of days, I do pay them ahead of time because they have to pay for their desks, they have to pay for pencils, they have to pay for fines if they're not following directions. And again, when I link the website, you'll see all what I'm talking about, but everything is something that you can fit into your classroom. If you want to fine your students for going to the bathroom excessively, you can do it. I don't agree with that personally. I feel like if you gotta pee, let them go. As long as it's not during direct instruction and you're not peeing your chair, we're good. But whatever you want to do, that kind of, it leaves it up to you, which I think also is great for your own, autonomy. All right, so day 2, they've gotten their first paycheck and they're off and running. Those first couple of weeks and even sometimes the first quarter, I'm really lenient about people, like nobody can get fired in the first quarter because we're all learning how to do the jobs. So if the banker is not the best banker, then I will help them when it's banking day. And then I just know I'm not going to pick them next time for banker. And they probably won't apply for banker. It gets stressful. And so we go throughout the quarter, and if there's a student that needs a fine, I'm going to tell the police officers, hey, you need to give this student a fine. This is the reason. Or if it's the attendance person, you need to organize this folder. Like, I will walk them through and sort of train them on the job. Police officers and bankers, they have paperwork they need. Bankers need a log book. You could also have your own students create their log. And the police officers need a fine log so that they can kind of write out the fines. Ultimately, unless there's a real discrepancy, I haven't had to go behind each transaction, but they write them down just in case. And then for my bankers and police officers, I always give them a divided list. So if I have 20 kids and I have 4 bankers, then they're each going to get 5 students that they're in charge of banking with once a week. And if I have 20 kids and 2 police officers, I wouldn't do more than 2, then they get 10 kids each that they have to watch. And they have their list and they have a folder. As you know, I'm in the process of moving, so none of my stuff is available, but as I get my room together and I bring you along with me, I will show you all of those things that I'm going to put together. The exciting part about the classroom economy is that by the 3rd quarter, even the 2nd quarter, your kids are so invested in the economy system and are so invested in the community. And that's the part that I love. Yes, I'm not yelling and fussing all the time. I'm not a yeller, but I'm not fussing and constantly harping on the same things. But also, the kids are now taking pride in their classroom and their community and how it's maintained and how people are treating each other. And they're having these discussions, and you can overhear kids when they get a fine. Well, why am I getting a fine? And the police officer will tell them, you were not kind, or you did not do this, this, and this. So I think that is super special, and it opens up conversation and it does build trust. Now, every now and then you might get a crooked cop who is out to get people or is reporting things that are not happening. That's happened maybe once in 3 years, and we just handled it at that time. We spoke to the student, and I don't even think he lost his job. I think he just figured out that that wasn't going to fly. So I think the best part of the economy system is, for me, the fact that they are having conversations about the expectations of the classroom. They're constantly reminding themselves of them, and they are building a community in which they must trust each other and they uphold each other. So that was really special. For them, I think the best part about the economy is the monthly student store. Now, I've seen people do this different ways. I'm a shopper, so you can do a shopping, like a student store where you go out and provide things, or you can do a student store where it's an auction. Because I am a shopper, I don't mind going to like Oriental Trading or hitting up the dollar spot of Target or wherever and finding items for the kids to buy. And so what I've done in the past, and you really have to fill out your group, so it's like that first full month is when you want to do your student store, and the students are able to go to the store with any money they have left over. So if they've earned bonuses throughout the month for just good behavior or completing homework every time, or whatever incentive you want to build in, aside from the rent that they've paid, they can use that to the student store. So in the past, I have had pencils, erasers, like the stuff that I would never allow, the clicky pencils, the 15 different color pens, the erasers that stack, little fidget skateboards, keychains, candy, chips, things that they want. And before our first student store, I generally try to get an idea of what they want. Also, if you've ever done like the 50 for 50 books at Scholastic, sometimes they'll put in like a really thin book. That's not something that is AR testable or something that I would want to put in my library. I'll put that in the student store too. It just depends. And then if it's like Halloween, there might be more skeleton items, or if there is, if it's the holidays, then I try not to do Christmas specific because not everybody celebrates Christmas, but I will try to add holiday or winter type items, snowflakes, snowmen, things like that. So that's the classroom economy. I feel like that was a lot, but I love it. I'm anxious to use it again. I think students really are drawn to it because of the fact that they get to be an active part of it. For those that are using clip charts, I'm not saying don't do it. That's your thing. Everybody's management's different. Once you build relationships, management the way you want to. But I think for me personally, when I use the clip chart, a lot of kids were left out of that process, and it didn't make a difference for them one way or the other. And the ones who were constantly moving on that clip chart, eventually it meant nothing to them anyway. So this is something that constantly keeps them going. If you have questions about the economy system, you can comment down below. Like I said, once I get into my classroom and get moved, I'll be happy to show you what I've put together for the different jobs. I will answer one question that would come off the top of my head if I was watching. Not everybody in your classroom is going to be made for the economy system. So if you have a very delayed student, you can give them a job still. You just need to help them with the banking and counting of their money, and give them a job that they know they'll be successful at. So they could be whatever your jobs are. I've always just given them things that they can be successful at. And then if you have a student who is constantly losing money and they don't have, they've had too many fines, I've done it one of two ways. One, I've put them sort of on like a probationary plan where we're working with a behavior chart to get them to earn money, or I've actually had kids not in the economy system at all. That only happened to one student, and it was about fourth quarter. They had no money every month up until the fourth quarter, and they just weren't in the economy system anymore. And I let the parent know, and we did like a daily how was their day sort of note back and forth between myself and the parent. But when it was time to pay for Fun Friday or time to have their monthly store, they did not get to participate. I don't know how much that affected them because it was the fourth quarter. They didn't really get a chance to turn it around. But I do know for me, it was less of a headache trying to figure out what to do with this person than just to take them out of the economy altogether and work on a behavior chart individually. So I think for the majority of students, it's going to be beautiful. You might have the one-offs, and again, that's one kid in 3 years, so 1 out of 75 or so that didn't get it, and that's okay. That's a great success rate for me. So thank you again for watching. I had great feedback on my first video, so it was very exciting. It's really weird putting myself out here like this, but I think it is great to help other people, and this is my contribution to the teacher world. So please like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video, get my name out there, and I'll see you next time. Bye.